Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Touchstarved, and as you guys can see, I guess we met everybody on the cast besides homeboy over there on the right, the white hair one. So I'm just gonna jump right on in and see where everything goes. I had to take a break though, but I got my water. I'm ready for a refresher when my Mother Goose goggles get a little too dry. But anywho, let's just jump right into it, y'all. Let's see what goes on. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right on in, apparently. All right. Outside, more crimson-eyed soulless scuttle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bog mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the soulless look over his shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following. What does she look like? I wonder. Okay, it does darken the sky by the time we reach the city. The soulless sits and looks at me expectantly with familiar crimson eyes. Wave at the soulless, pet the soulless. I'll pet it, sure. As nervous as I am, I carefully guide my fingers through the soulless tendrils and scratches beneath its chin, just like, I think I called him Ice? Yeah, Ice had. It pushes into my palm and responds, rumbling with the sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are soothing, almost healing my fatigue. When it's satisfied, the soulless spins around and scampers back into the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. It's barely my first day in Iridia, and I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible, tame soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Nightcap creeps across the city of Iridia. The city, Lambeth even in daytime, has become a worn, treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. I think somebody forgot a word there. I make my way through the winding streets, doing my best to keep my bearings towards the wet wick. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? I don't know. I feel like she's been kind of spot on. Something's wrong. The fine hair on my back of my neck, there goes the neck again, prickles a frisson of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. If it's a rat, I swear. My eyes dart from one side of the street to the other, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as a pool of ink, and I see nothing. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tighter around my body, I hurry on my way. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moment passes and nothing happens, I begin to wonder, maybe I really did imagine that noise. I turn the next corner, and my thoughts come screaming to a halt. My head spins, the world blur as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. Wait, what? It crouched over a dark and distant shape, a body. A garland of, intestines spill from the flesh, blood grunts to cobblestone. For mercy, the soulless is too distracted by its meal to have noticed me. My feet feel as heavy as stone, but I can't just stand here. Holding my breath, I take a step backwards. When the wet slushing sound dawned a bit, I take another, then another. Then a shard of glass crushes under my heel. The world seemed to slow to a crawl as the slowest raised his head, blood dripping from his mouth. Every single one of it, blah, 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 okay. It's really here. It came back for me. Run. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bass splits the silence and heavy footfall pounds. Is there a way to turn this down? Okay. Okay. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random trying to lose it in the maze of the streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing. The same claws that severed my arm swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around the corner. I take 3 running strides before the bottom drops to my stomach. Before the bottom drop out of my stomach. A wall twice as high as me bars my way a dead end. When I turn around the soulless moon in the entry of the alley, it's no longer running, it doesn't have to. As I prowl closer, my thoughts race. Some of the buildings lining the streets are lit. There must be people inside, it's a long shot, but... we screaming. Somebody help me! My voice rings through the shadow streets, silhouettes pass by the window, but nobody answers. In this wretched world, few people will stick their necks out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soul is provoked by my shouting and gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before lunge for me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestone betrays me. I fall on rough stone. As the soul is loom over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. Sorry if I'm skipping a lot of the dialogue. It's just so wordy to where it's like you don't need all these words in one sentence. It just feels so cramped. But the impact never came. I really crack one eye open, then the other. Not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. Who is it? The hooded figure crouched in front of me, one bloodstained hand outstretched. I figured it was him. He looks so good. Moonlight silvers the edge of their silhouette knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood, and the soulless. My eyes start past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind them. The soulless many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spread slowly from under his body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. It's dead. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it. Well, I generally take the offered hand. The stranger gaze dipped to my bandages, pale lips part on the brink of a question, then close again. With their strength, believing their slight frame, they pull me to my feet. Be lying. As soon as I'm on my own 2 feet again, they pull away from me and start wiping the blood from their face and hands. Stay here. They turn away from me stiffly, leaning over the soulless, gangly body. Are you gonna eat it? With their back towards me, I realized that I saw their hooded silhouette at the Sinnoh. You were at the Sinnoh. You saved me. You're shorter than I thought. You're at the Sinnoh. I've seen you before. You were at the Sinnoh earlier, weren't you? They cast a weary look at me. So what if I was? Their harsh response take me aback. Before I could formulate a response, they continue. What are you thinking, traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tail of them. First they saved me, and now they scold me? Lesson learned. I can do without the lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. Their attitude glides back to the soulless corpse. They examine it with an indescribable expression. Scribble, whatever. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Boo. What is with these names? I'm gonna call him Min. I don't know. Suddenly, Min tense. Their blade flashes as they drive it into the base of the soulless skull right between the vertebrae. The soulless thrash once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves his lungs. Men lean on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper until there's a sickening crunch and the creature goes limp. My heart throbs in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by a thread. Men straighten up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood from their knife. They struck with surgical precision. Their quick, clean movements are familiar. Are you a scientist? Men stop mid-motion, lifting their heads to stare at me. You knew exactly where to strike. Have you studied anatomy or medicine? Not quite. Why is a soulless inside the city? Thank you for asking the question. Min look at me. Min looks at me, eyes searching before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Souls can come and go as they please until someone is contracted to stop them. The Sinnoh patrols don't bother to protect Lowtown. Not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the Sinnoh? Why is this so loud? Like, come on with that. I wouldn't go that far. Their brow are barely furrows, and they stuff their knife, mentioning for me to follow them. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? You are making unbearable racket. Next time you walk into a soulless claw, at least die quietly. Heck no, I'm yelling. I'm shouting, I'm screaming, my lungs are gonna be working. Their answer is strikingly harsh. Stingingly harsh. You know what? Fine. I just need to find my lounge. My lounging? I hold my hand up, trying to forestall any more snappy comments. Alright, I get it. I love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodging. What make you think I'll help you? Nothing, but there's no harm in asking. That seemed to catch them off guard. Their brow knits and they look away, scolding. How troublesome. Boo. I turn, surprised by the voice. Kuros walked down the street towards us. His white and gold clothing is pristine, despite the grime of the city. Hello, Min. I see that Solus was your work. They know each other. Of course they do. Min shrugs. There's familiarity to the way they regard each other. You know them, Kuros? I didn't know you had friends, Min. Right. I didn't know you had friends, Min. I don't. Freelance work is dangerous, and Kuros is a doctor. That's all. Boo needs to get back to wherever she's staying before she wanders into the jaws of another soulless. It is late. Were you able to find a place to stay, Boo? I'm staying at the Wet Wick. Both their faces fall. What is up with the Wet Wick, yo? I see. Would you like a guide? It might be preferable to wandering about alleyways. That would be nice. Men click their tongue and sigh, sounding mildly put out. Going to the district, that godly cesspit? Come, this way. Despite men cleared the test, when Kuros led me down the street, they kept pace with us. Catching my curious glance, Min eyes narrow. It's not safe this late. Who writes this? It's not safe this late. I don't care about you, but Kuros is the only doctor worth a damn in this place. Are you like this with everyone? The deadpan look Min gives me is answer enough. I catch Kuros hiding a slight smile. I suppress a sigh and resign myself to having a grumpy shadow all the way back to the Wet Wick. This writing make me tongue-tied. Like, I don't know what's going on with this writing. The route Kuros takes is completely different from my slow meandering earlier in this morning. In no time at all, he cuts through darkened streets and twisting alleys. It seems like half the city has poured into the whatever district colorful streets. Laughter, clicking glass, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet the moist noise still comes from the Wet Wick. Its door hangs open, lantern lit. Here we are. He moved towards the door and Min lets out an audible huff. What's wrong with you, Min? Golly. Don't tell me you're going in. I had some quick business with Leander. Ugh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. They drag their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the cavern. What is up with Leander and all the crew? And that fox guy with this doctor? As soon as the door opened, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. An hour since I left the wick has grown significantly crowded. Kuros stands out, easily a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him amid the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me? The crowd parts as though answering his request. Kuros glanced over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through. How can anyone breathe in here? Min follows Kuros at a clipped pace, whatever. Leander is right where I left him. Although he traded places with the bartender, he holds a pair of shot glasses filled to the brim with luminous green liquid. And now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glass white with frost. You're never going to guess what's in these. Leander slides the glasses across the bar, and I give my third and fourth shot of the evening in rapid succession. I wasn't expecting him to be here. Ice leans against the bar and elbow propped on the counter. He catches the glass and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The content, magically congealed, still firm in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. Oh, Veer is here too. Veer, perched on the bar's counter beside Ice, takes a single look at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Leander's nose treasures? Ew. You've eaten worse. Yeah. Veer's lip twitch. His ears flatten when Ace offers him a glass. He turns his cheek with a sniff and Ice just snickers. I'm just gonna call him Ice. I really don't know how to pronounce this man's name. Coward. Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Ice throws back his head and down the shot. Drinking that. A dark look crosses Ice's face. It's chewy. Ew. Chewy? Wait, let me try again. Behind me, Min grumbles. I told you this place was a nest for degenerates. If it isn't Kuros and Min. At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt until Kuros set a hand on their shoulder. I promise this will not take long. Min's eyes started from Kuros' hand to his face, then softened. Fine, you first. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people I met today know each other. Yeah, right. You don't say. Good evening, Leander. Ice. Another drinking competition, I presume? Look at them. They look so good. Oh, is it evening already? Could have sworn it was earlier. Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. Nothing to be afraid of. Kuros acknowledged Leander and Ice with the slightest nods, ignoring Veer entirely. Not that Veer seems to mind. He tilts his head and an impish smile curves his lips when he spots Min looming silently behind Kuros. I almost didn't see you there, Min. Looking for your booster seat? Min pushes back their hood. Excuse me. Min pushes back their hood. They level Veer with a cold look. Excuse me, y'all. Oh my gosh. I thought Ice wasn't allowed to bring his pets in here. Veer's tail gives an angry twitch. Look at this. Oh, I love this angle. It's so good. At the first sign of an impending fight, Leander vaults clear over the counter. He slides in between Ice and Kuros. Now, let's try and keep the peace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Kuros' shoulders. You are finally taking me up on that drink, right, Kuros? I'm afraid not. We're merely escorting Boo back to her lounging. Kuros gestures in my direction and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. As soon as he sees me, Leander's face brightens. Boo, it's been too long. I just saw you like a few hours ago. Everyone, this is Boo. She's new to Eridia. Eridia? I don't know. I feel 5 pair of eyes fixed on me, and suddenly the bar feels suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi again. We've already met. Actually, I've already met everyone. You've already met? Literally met everyone. Ice and Veer level me with a subtle amused expression. Veer's tail gives a lazy wag. We did. Not that long ago either. I'm starting to suspect she's stalking me. Boy, bye. He looks far too pleased with himself when I roll my eyes right. I'm just like, boy, bye. Look at them. This looks so good. This calls for a drink. What does everyone want? In an instant, all eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk among themselves feels surreal. But for the first time since I undertook the journey to Eridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. The low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts. Ah, what color me surprised. You make friends fast, boo. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances. A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. True. A wise man? You said that. Here, last week. I can hear men's lip curl with detest from across the bar. Leander clears his throat and continues protrude. Let's toast to Boo's health. Care to join in, doctor? Kuros politely declines with a wave of his hand. He is really trying to get this doctor to drink. How about you, men? No. Are you? No. A resounding pop pierces the dim bar. We all turn in the direction of the noise. Veer looks almost bashful as he accepts an overflowing flute from the bartender, poured from a bottle so old its label has been worn blank. They serve champagne here? Since when? Veer pauses in the middle of licking the champagne foam from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't mind, do you? In a transformation as impressive as his magic trick, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. He laughs softly. No, be my guest. I know you got expensive tastes. Then he shoots the bartender a frantic look. Unbothered or uninterested in his company, Ice cants his head at me, a light smile on his lips. How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink earlier. No, my treat. Ice regards Leander over the lip of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his crimson eyes looked downright dangerous. What'll it be, Boo? I'll take that drink. Water's fine. Water's good. I don't know y'all like that. Water's fine. Allow me. Leander pushes away from the counter and goes flat down the bartender, leaving me with Kuros and more distinctly me. I'm not the least bit surprised that neither has bothered ordering anything. They both seem ready to leave at a moment's notice. Water is a wise choice. Is it your doctor's duty to encourage sobriety? But Kuros shakes his head with a patient smile. The drinks here are notoriously watered down, most likely to cut costs, but it only encourages the patron to overindulge. Men look up from adjusting the lace of one of their bracers. The only reason anyone bothered coming here is for the cheap rooms and cheaper drinks, perfect condition for terrible mistakes. It almost sounds like you're speaking from experience. Their pale face reddened, and they look away scolding. Right. Leander returned the glass of water that I accept with a muttered thanks. He claps, drawing the attention of the group. Alright everyone, let's toast. May Boo stay Eridia, I don't know, be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers! Everybody raised their glass in union. Min only crosses their arms and Kuros watch with a polite indifference. The water is bitter, cold, and tastes faintly metallic, but I savor it all the same. Gradually, the din in the crowded bar fades to a low mutter. I find myself relaxing for what feels like the first time in years. Aren't you the popular one, Boo? I'm guessing you met Kuros first. It would be more accurate to say that I found her. He saved my life. I merely performed my duty as a doctor. Although I must admit that I was confused when I woke up missing all my clothes. Leander made a choking noise somewhere behind him inside. Look at their faces. It's not what you think. Boo was in great condition. I could hardly treat such an injury through tattered clothes. The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Kuros' disappointment, and catch Veer snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the subject. Kuros isn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's men for you. Leander reaches for men, but they dug under his arms with practiced ease, without so much as looking his way. As reliable as they are moody. You're the one to talk, considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night. Oh, I might have gotten a little distracted. Yeah, a whole lot distracted. Men only responds as a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to thank you, men. Don't. The less souls alive, the better. It's okay, little cutie. For a heartbeat, men eye flicker towards Ice, and their lips twist. Ice is too busy nodding along to Veer's enthusiastic whatever of stabbing to notice, lost, no doubt, in an enthralling discussion. I've had enough of this hellhole, let's go. Min and Kura share a brief look, then the doctor speaks up. Very well, but there is something that I must discuss with Leander if you'll excuse us, boo. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to sip my water in silence. Or so I think, until I hear a voice so soft and low it's practically a purr. Is it Veer? Yeah. Lost your tour guide? Oh no, they did leave me with these two creatures. I turned to find crimson and pink eyes trained on me. It's not lost on me that they choose the instant the others left to strike. Just my luck. Right. I'm just like, oh no. These two creatures are gonna get me. I had to be abandoned with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again. I really don't think either one of them was that bad to warrant her attitude, you know? Don't tell me Leander's already snuck off to get his knob slobber back out. To get his knob slobber out back. He's got business with Kuros and Min. 2 on 1 business? Isn't he lucky? I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Veer has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped to the back of his hand, his ears twitch whenever a hiccup shakes his shoulder. Why are you so far away? Come join us. He passed the empty bar stool beside Ice and... Oh, but I hesitate. Yeah, sit between y'all two? You're crazy. The smile Veer wears is sweet and distinctly sly. And with drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Ice will mess with me. We don't bite. I'm not sure about that. Just hours ago, he tried to rob me and you threatened me. Me? Still? Surely you must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you. And then you had the galls to kick me out just so you could go drinking? He gives another one of his shrugs. I was lonely. A simpler answer than I expected, but I guess I can't fault him for that. Veer suddenly slumps forward, sleeves pulling where he rests his elbows on his knees. I set his hands on Veer's waist, narrowly avoiding him from tipping off the counter. How about we start fresh, Begin with proper introductions? Get off on the right foot and whatnot. I'll start. My name's Veer, hunter extraordinaire. Are you a hunter? Veer's right hand fluttered to his chest as he bows his head, flinching when hair falls into his eye. Ice doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. You already know my name. I'm certain you already know my name. Hard not to when Leander shouts it every other second. Veer tips his head back and drains the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to formally meet you, boo. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every symbol. A tingle jumped down my spine. I quickly turned my gaze away. I smirk at my reaction over the rim of his glass. Is something funny? Nope. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be the exhaustion. A flash of white over Ice's shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Kuras head for the door. I don't see Leander or Min, but it feels wrong to let him leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Veer hums and wags his finger at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to catch anyone, but just as I'm nearing Kuras... Is it Min or Leander? Leander's gonna stop me with his chest, right? I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck thicker than both of my thighs. He stares down at me. Oh no. Roughneck. Okay. Out of my way, shit stain. Asshole. I mutter while massaging my throbbing elbows. The roughneck wheels around, shoving a bloodhound out of the way so he can close in on me. What'd you just say? He shoved me backwards, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps to my throat when I see the roughneck bearing down on me. You're trying to start something here? The roughneck frees, his fist cocked back, and a group of bloodhounds called by the commotion circle him, sizing him up. For what feels like an agonizingly long moment, the roughneck looks from me to the bloodhounds. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me, the lull nearly missing my cheek. Oh, you nasty bitch. Screw it. Too many freaks in this circus tonight. He turns his back on me and comes face to face with Ice. Look at him. So far, I'm getting towards 3 of the guys. So far. And he is one of them. A dangerous smile spreads across his face. You'll do. What happened next is a blur. Ice fist crushes into the redneck jaw, causing an eruption of gas, shouts, and even cheers around us. I stumble to my feet right as the frantic crowd swarms around me, cutting off my sight of everything and everyone. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting, Hey, Ice, take it outside. Ignore them, everyone. Look, drinks are on me. With those 4 words, the wick erupts with hoots and hollers. The ring around me disperses as bloodhounds and onlookers rush towards the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch glimpses of a familiar face. Ice vanishes out back, dragging the roughneck behind him. Curs linger near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Men draws their hood up tight as they slip out the side door. While Veer leans over the counter to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar, and Leander, seated at the opposite end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In the space of a heartbeat, I realize that there's no telling when or if I see any of them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak to tonight. I follow. I don't know. What does this even mean? What does this mean? I'm definitely not following Veer. Absolutely not. I don't want to cry. Men, I don't know him. So that's a no. That's a no. Cross is leaving and he did save us. Ice is, I don't know. Leander is, I don't know. Probably Kura, because that's who I was chasing at first. Hot on Kura's heels, I squeeze my way out of the bar. Of everyone I've met, he seemed the most likely to help me, and the least likely to murder me on the whim. Earlier this morning, he said I can go to the clinic for help whenever I need it. Time to see if that promise was actually worth anything. Okay, so this was part of asking for help. I probably should have went with Leander then. But I don't know, Kuraz, I don't know too much about him. I think he's more than just a doctor. Oh well, we're here. I breathe a sign of relief. Once I'm free of the crowded bar, Kuraz, hearing me, turns my way. Boo, you seem upset. I take the district is not to your liking. The mage who raised me sometimes made bizarre comments about the whatever district, and now I think I have an inkling of what she meant. That's not why I stepped out. You're not in need of treatment after that fall, are you? I scold at him and he holds up his hand in a gesture. I apologize, boo. Please continue. About time. Someone comes right across me towards Kuraz, stopping us in the middle of the street. Even in the dim pink haze that seemed to blanket everything, there's no mistaking the present white uniform and stiffly stretched hat. Another Sinnoh cleric. I hastily step back, making myself as inconspicuous as possible. Conspicuous as possible. Can I help you? Nervous onlooker hastily part around Kuraz and the cleric. The two form an island of white in a sea of teeming color. Sorry, I can't read y'all. Okay, I gotta get my stuff together. I guess because I'm not really interested in this part of the story too much. At least not yet. So I'm very much trying to rush through it and it's like, slow down. Enough. You know who... Oh, I didn't read that. My bad. Then I hope you find this identifying. Kuros reaches into his coat and produces 3 tiny glass vials bound together with a thick leather cord. A silvery powder shimmers inside. He gently flicks the glass, watching the contents swirl, and extends the vitals to the cleric. This is it? They look extremely unimpressed. Appearances can be deceiving. He throws me a glance and a swift smile, but I'm too surprised to respond. Chris was the first to warn me about the Sinnoh. Nobody I met had anything good to say about them. And yet here he is, openly dealing with them in the district? I dance between Kuros and the cleric, who seems to notice me for the very first time. Good night. They bow to Kuros, offer me an extremely interesting nod, and disappear into the seething crowd. Boo, is something amiss? What was that about? Isn't that dangerous? Yeah, I don't want to be all up in his business, you know, but you did tell me to be careful. Isn't that dangerous? A conversation is hardly dangerous. You know what I mean. You're the one who warned me about the Sinnoh. Shh. Be calm. He holds one finger to his lip, which suddenly curled in a cat-like smile. For now, please join me on a short stroll. Kuros' golden eyes twinkle in the low light. He beckons me away from the main thoroughfare down a side street filled with vendors hawking late-night snacks. What? Wait. Now, powerful, curious, in spite of myself, I hurry over Kuros. Each of his long, graceful stride is easily 2 of mine. I catch a glimpse of his gleaming white coat disappearing around the corner of the street. The moment I catch up, the delicious scent of freshly baked goods flood my nose. My stomach gives a low rumble. 1 honey cookie, please. Coming right up. Without breaking his swift pace, Kuros plucked the sticky confection of the merchant's hand. Just say he took the sticky cookie from the vendor's hand. Honestly, what's with these vocabularies? They need a whole section, an option to pick easy vocabulary. The heavenly smell makes my stomach rumble once more. I take a bite without hesitation. Yum. Kuros watched me with his smile, and I notice he hasn't gotten anything for himself. You're not hungry? You need not concern yourself with me. He stopped mid-sentence, his eyes darting back the way we came. The hair sticks up on the back of my neck. I turn enough to peek over my shoulder, hoping I don't look too suspicious. Sure enough, it's the same cleric who waylaid us in the streets, now wearing a thunderously angry expression. Uh-oh. Well, disappointment can be a learning experience. Glimmer of realization dawned on me as I stare up at him. What exactly was in those vials? Perhaps a rare important alchemy catalyst, or some stale fish skins. The two do resemble one another, and it can be hard to tell them apart. Is he serious? I chance another glance at the cleric, who's now trying to elbow their way between the food stands. The visual of this. A few people make way, but most don't even notice their efforts. The street is far too crowded with hungry patrons. Shall we? Without even waiting for a response from me, he glides swiftly into the crowd once more. You're messing with them? Is there a point to all this? You're messing with the Sinnoh cleric? Such impolite behavior. I'm telling you what even suggested. Kuros! I must still look crazy because his smile softens a little. He lifts his hand as if to pat my shoulder, then stops himself. As I said, you have nothing to fear. He does into what looks like an abandoned doorway, but opens to a small covered market. The stalls here are full of more spice than I knew exists. Even taking a short breath makes me sneeze. Kuros slowed his pace, occasionally pausing to examine the insistent hawker's wares. Wait, he looked up from a display of livid red leaves, try saying that 3 times, each as long as my forearm. You say I have nothing to fear, but everyone in Aradia seems weary of the Sinnoh. People fear the obvious trapping of power, wealth force, and hideously towers. For my part, I find such trapping merely disappointing. The Sinnoh once had great potential. They squandered it decades ago in the pursuit of trinkets, pleasure, and petty tranny. Their narrow Pasonic interests have rendered them blind to all else that moves. I think that's the most I've ever heard Kuras say on any topic. Yeah, that's true. You sound like you know them well. Kuras let out a low sigh. You miss, little boo. Familiarity breeds contempt, and I am more familiar with the Sinnoh's crude behavior than I would like. Now I'm getting somewhere, something beyond vague warning or swift deflection. I decide to press the point while I have the chance. Familiar how? Kuras stops right in front of a display of pickled fruit, and I nearly run into his back. He steps aside the last moment, his arm resting gently but firmly on my waist. I tense, but he's careful to avoid my bandaged hands. Our pursuer refused to take no for an answer. Them again? I thought we lost him in the crowd. I crane my leg to look for the cleric, but Kuras shakes his head. This way. The next street over seems to be home to the high-end brothels. It's full of steep stairways and shadowy passages, perfect to discreet terrace for losing a persistent tail. Pink curtains and painted facade sprawl around me like a giant colorful warren. It only takes a few more twists and turns down blind alleys and narrow walkways before I'm completely turned around. Kuras, however, seemed to be following some map in his own mind. He takes each turn with swift confidence, guiding me with the occasional nudge. The gap between towering buildings can hardly be called alleys. So narrow we had to press through single file. Just a little farther. The effortless grace which he moves is almost infuriating. It takes every ounce of concentration I have just to avoid tripping over loose tiles, discarded clothes, and unidentifiable rubbish. Meanwhile, his long legs almost seem to float over every obstacle. His clothes are still completely pristine despite the soot-stained walls on the other side. Well, it could be magic too. How the hell does he do it? Some sort of enchantment woven into his jacket? A glamour spell? I'm still trying to puzzle it out when I realize how warm it is, with me practically tripping on his heel. The tiny gap between us seemed to radiate heat, like beating midday sun on the longest day of summer. Ew, hate summer. Fall back, stay close. This ain't close. I definitely don't want to get lost here. I stay as close to Kuras as I can without actually touching him. I promise I will not lose you. Was I that obvious? Our eyes met, and despite my best effort, I find it hard to hold his gaze. I've never seen eyes like his. Despite our dark and dingy surrounding, it's like Kuras radiates his own light whenever he looks at me. Thank you for indulging me, boo. I believe we have lost our tail. It's much quieter on the edge of the district, and the deal in the shadows looks shadier. Did you enjoy your impromptu tour? Relief escaped me an entire laugh. After the day I've had, playing keep away from the Sinnoh cleric seems almost normal. I wasn't in moral peril, so that's a nice change of pace. He laughs too, a soft and pleasant chuckle completely at odds with his usual cool demeanor. Are you sure we lost that cleric? If there's one thing you can count on, it's the elitism of the Sinnoh finest. They were not designed to follow us this far. He sounds confident enough. I was starting to wonder if we have to make a full circuit of the city to ditch them. A beam of moonlight cuts through the clouds, casting his face in sharp relief. However, I should escort you back to your lodging. It would be unwise to let you go alone. What about you? Are you staying at the Wetwick? Of course not. Then you're going back to your clinic alone? You just said that it was a bad idea. He pauses, stares at me, then his expression relaxed into a gentle smile. Fear not, boo. Only the most desperate or foolish would dare to lay a hand on me. It sounds insane after 2 near-death souls encounter, but part of me believes him. The few people who are still out huddling beneath streetlights and in doorways, desperate to be as close to safety as possible. Kuros, on the other hand, looks more relaxed than I've ever seen him. He's scrolling down the middle of the street, bold as if it were broad daylight. Even walking alongside him makes me feel more secure, warmer both inside and out. I hang on to that faint spark of hope and screw up my courage. Did you mean it this morning when you said I could come back to you for help? Every word. All his earlier mirth vanishes, replaced by calm focus. I don't know what to say to that. I almost expected his offer to be a courtesy, an easy way to get me out the door. The fact that he meant it. Why do you ask? I believe I have already made my intentions to help you quite clear. I mean, kind of, but not really, His eyes flicker briefly to my arm, the one that he miraculously reattached when he found me. I can almost imagine him counting the neat stitches. I just wanted to make certain. I'm still figuring out who's trustworthy and who's trouble. I see. Iridia does tend to attract extreme individuals. Very. Including you? Ah, boo. I decline to incriminate myself in your eyes. You're doing a good job at it. You're doing a good job at it. I can recognize a smooth deflection when I hear one. Though if he won't talk more about himself, maybe he'll tell me about someone else. I decided to ask about... Oh, they're really giving out all my secrets. Okay. I'm curious about Leander and Ice. I do want to know about Leander. Like, how is it that I'm able to touch him and nothing happens? Because Ice, I don't know. He doesn't really... I just literally met him. Why'd you send me to Leander for help? Few knows Erda better than Leander. The company he keeps can be questionable, but I had confidence in him. Yeah, his bloodhounds seem rough around the edges. Leander has always preferred the company of those like him, survivors of Lowtown's harsh realities. You must have noticed how they flock to him. I nod. He seems to know every single person in Wetwick. And that's a good thing. Leander's closest peer trusts him with their lives. I would say that counts for something. Or I can ask about everybody. Have you been out to see Ice at the sea spring? Once. Only once? Seemed like a spring with miraculous powers would be interested in a doctor. A long silence follows, so long that I'm not sure Kuros heard me. I'm about to repeat myself when he finally speaks in a near whisper. Ice is the rare newcomer who has proven himself immediately worthy of respect. The sea spring is another matter. Hidden depths often contains unwelcome secrets. You can say that about anything around here. A fair point. Nonetheless, I've seen many purported wanderers. Oh, you know what? Veer and the doctor don't get along with one another. Or Veer and Kuros don't get along with one another. So that one might be a very interesting take from his point of view. Yeah, so what's Min's story? I'm interested with Min too. You and Min sound like you knew each other well. Kuros heaves a long-suffering sigh. I know them better than most, and less well than I would like. Like you, Min is a recent arrival. Their time here has been particularly difficult. As much as I would like to help, he trails off, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Min didn't seem like the sort of person who would accept help easily. Maybe not, but I think Min will be okay with it though. They do always pick fights that are twice their size. I have imported them not to. They rarely listen. Last but not least, how do you know Veer? Kuros visibly stiffened, and I remember the venom in Veer's voice when he grabbed me. That fucking doctor. It looks like the feeling is very much mutual. Regrettably, Veer is one of my worst patients. How did you cross his path? He stole my room key. You are fortunate that he did nothing else. He is far deadlier than he seems. There's a reason he's not at liberty. A reason for the collar and chain. He seemed pretty dodgy to me already. I hesitate, waiting for Kuros to elaborate, but he seems to find even the thought of Veer distasteful. With my curiosity sated for now, I fall silent. I wish Kuros had given me just a little more to go on, but he seemed almost as tight-lipped about the others as he is about himself. Well, information is pretty much their currency here, so I can understand why he's so quiet about everybody. By the time we're back at the Wet Wick, and the district seems even noisier and whatever, drunken patrons, blah blah blah, how am I supposed to sleep with all this racket? I suggest the stiffest drink at the bar, alternatively a ball of wax. Very funny. Even with how tired I am, I'm not sure I'll get a wink of sleep. I'm about to say goodnight to Kuros when someone staggers out of the Wet Wick and right into me. Veer. I stumble back. Okay. Boo. The next thing I know, a pair of warm arms catch me around the waist. I find myself staring up at Kuros pressed against his chest. His grasp loosened, but he doesn't quite let me go. Something shifts in his gaze. His eyes fix on my face, and I feel myself growing hot all over at his intense scrutiny. What does he see in me? What's he looking for? Kuros? My apologies. Even after he moves away, the warmth of his touch lingers through my clothes. I quickly tug my cloak straight, trying to recollect my scattered thoughts. Good night. Thanks for everything today. You are most welcome. He turns and slips into the crowd, though I can pick out his pristine white coat with ease. A chilling gust howled down the street. When did it get so cold out? Choose my fate? What does this mean? Game, you can't just... What do you mean choose my fate? Leander offers you something that should be impossible, a taste of normalcy free of your curse. As the first person to withstand your touch, he could change your life, but some things are simply too good to be true. Leander promises to help unravel your curse, but at what cost? What is my fate? Veer served as a warning of the dangers posed by the Sinnoh, a cunning as he is curious. Veer finds you fascinating and insists that he can help, but trusting him means entrusting your life to a... Yeah, I do not trust this guy at all. Can Veer protect you, or are you his honey, or are his honey words a trap waiting to snap shut? Yeah, I don't know anything about Veer. I literally just met this man. Like, I don't know anything about him. Ice, the demon renegade. An intimidating yet laid-back outsider, Ice proceeds over a sea spring with unnerving powers. He offers you a miracle, but the price means submitting. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing this. Submitting yourself to a horrifying presence at the heart of the spring. Will you gaze into the abyss for answer, even at the risk of losing yourself? No. From all appearances, Kuros is the principled whatever doctor of extraordinary skills, but you know little about the man beneath the professional mask. And Kuros keeps even his friends at a cool distance. If you uncover his deepest secrets, will you like what you find? These answers, they're so androgynous. Like, it's like they're not giving you any kind of comfort. Despite their cold nature and familiarity with violence, Min is just as desperate as you to get into the Sinnoh. You may be able to help you may be able to help each other, but they're keeping as many secrets as you. We just literally met them. They claim they're dangerous, but could they be your only chance at getting to the Sinnoh? Oh my gosh. I don't even know what this means. I literally just met all of them. Like, I don't know anything about any of these people. I think if they were giving us a little more information, this would be a lot easier, but considering is literally between Leander and Kuros, if I'm being honest with you. I don't want Veer because I don't trust him. I don't know him. Ice, absolutely not, because I don't want to drink that nasty water. And Min, I don't know him. Them. Whatever. I don't know them. So I'm stuck between Kuros and Leander. The only reason why I'm stuck between these two is because, number one, I feel like there's so much to Kuros that we don't know, and he might be more powerful than what we know. Okay? Leander has the information. He has the information. The only thing that gets me with him is that he's a little bit of a showboat, number one. And I just feel like, I don't know, there's something about him that I like him, but he also makes me a little bit weary of him in the same breath. I think I'm gonna go with Kuros. I think so. There's just something about him I'm okay with a lot more than Leander. And the only thing with him is I don't know. I'm gonna go with him. Oh, that was it. Really? Okay, well, I guess that was it. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. I guess that was it. That was a weird way to end the demo. So yeah, y'all, I guess that's it. I don't know if this will carry over to the main game. I highly doubt that it will. But I guess that's it for the demo. I don't know. It wasn't really all that. I was expecting more from the demo. Just a little more... I don't know. I was expecting a little more. I'm kind of shocked about how it ended, I guess. But I guess that's the demo. I guess that's it, y'all. So thank y'all for checking out this demo with me. Very anticlimactic, I will have to say. Another thing I will have to say is this. I'm hoping when the main game do get released, they kind of cut down on the dialogue. There's a lot of unnecessary dialogue, and it's just, it feels very dense, you know, especially because there's no voice acting. If there's voice acting, I would be okay, but the fact there's no voice acting, at least right now there isn't, it's just way too dense to read for me personally. But outside of that, it's interesting, I guess. It's very much not what I was expecting. It's very vanilla, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's very vanilla. Nothing about this demo left me wanting to know more. I thought it would be like a very heavy cliffhanger that make you go, yeah, I want the game. But the fact that that was it, I don't really know exactly how to feel. I don't know. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this random pause, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye.